I wanted to start and maybe go back to your TED Talk in 2016, which is a great view. It's only about 10 minutes. I encourage a lot of people to watch it. But you put a logo on the screen, not a logo, a tagline that said, "Don't be evil." And I think we all know that this was kind of the unofficial tagline of maybe one of the companies we're streaming on right now, maybe Google, that is now known as Alphabet. And you asked the audience about that phrase, "Don't be evil." And you asked them, what shouldn't it be, "Can't be evil"? And I thought it was a really interesting way to maybe begin talking about the way that you look at the internet, the way you look at blockchain, the way you look at stacks, as maybe a way to make sure that we keep the power out of a few hands and more back to the people. And so maybe this is also a way to talk about how Web 2.0 transitions to 3.0. But maybe I'll ask you instead, what were you trying to say on that TED Talk where you moved that phrase from "don't be evil" to "can't be evil"? And did I get it right with what you were talking about?
Yeah, I think you did. I feel like it's that phrase is actually catching on a lot now. Like, a lot of people use it. They would basically say it like "can't be evil" is better than "don't be evil." And I think it kind of like in many ways captures the essence of what's the difference between Web 3 versus Web 2, right? Like in that sense that in the previous versions of the internet or the web, there was no concept of ownership, right? Like you're kind of like implicitly trusting large companies. And I actually grew up in Pakistan, and there are some areas in that country that are still under a feudal system, right? Like where people, they don't own any land, and they're actually like, it's a big bottleneck to economic prosperity because they don't have any ownership, right? So they're just working for whoever the feudal lord is, and it's only the feudal lord that is actually reaping all the benefits. And in many ways, that's kind of like what's happening with Facebook and Google. Like everyone's like just giving them our data for free, really, and they're making all the money and they have all the power and control, right? And we almost want to change that to "can't be evil," where there are these internet protocols that basically no one has to trust them. Everyone, it basically levels the playing field for everybody. Everyone has to play with the same rules. And I think that thing is captured in the phrase like "can't be evil." And same thing applies to Bitcoin as well. Like think of it this way. Bitcoin is a monetary system where the rules are transparent. Everyone knows like what is the supply of Bitcoin, and it's not going to change. So it levels the playing field for everybody. It's not that, hey, if you lose your Bitcoin, you can go and get a bailout from the protocol. Like that's never going to happen, right? So the rules are actually the same for everybody. So it's actually a much more fair system to work with. And similarly, if you apply that concept to the internet, it becomes a much more fairer internet, right? Like everyone has ownership, everyone has kind of like their own property rights and their own, and the rules are transparent to everybody, right? Which was just never there before on the internet. And I think that's why I keep coming back to this feeling that the jump of like not having the internet and then having the internet was huge, but the jump of like defining digital property might be like 100x or 1,000x bigger than that, because I think that is a fundamental shift in society.